area.
Yep.
So
That's
that was
what
an
I'm thinking.
idea that we've thrown, and it's something that like I've been thinking of. The more they release, is more I'm like it gets closer and closer to that idea, and I'm like, come on, I just want to see it. But
Yeah,
who
I think
knows?
that would add some interesting gameplay aspects, having like a deployable AoE healing thing that you got to kind of take down.
The question is, do you get 3 of them or do you get 1 of them?
Yeah, exactly. One with a big radius or 3 that you can kind of put out with a smaller radius. It's a mechanic we haven't really seen yet. We've seen like Abe's stasis grenades, but something that heals the team will be cool.
Yeah. So we are going in right now. We are at the ban screen, which means that we are looking at a Kraken ban.
Wow!
I know.
I can't believe it, man.
Followed by, wait for it, a Val ban.
Damn.
Followed by a Rogue Val pickup. Do you want to guess the rest of them?
Do I have to? I mean,
Well,
I think we all know.
We're going to get one that's actually different so far.
You think so? All right.
Well,
So
I can already see them.
I haven't looked yet. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Crow ban because that's my guess.
Close. It was a Jack ban and an A pickup. Oof. Get out of here, Crow. You're not picked this time. You get to relax. In the support class, Sunny was banned, followed by a Cabot pickup.
All right.
So we're going full damage.
Yeah. We're seeing a damage comp here. Abe is known for that damage if you know how to handle his shotgun well.
Yep.
Oof. You see what I'm seeing?
Oh, yeah. So we see Torvald banned, followed by a Parnell pickup.
I love that. I think that Parnell is really, really good now. He's always been kind of passed over because there's other people who sort of fulfilled his role a little bit better than him, if that makes sense. You had Torvald who, if you wanted that spike damage, Torvald was a little bit of a safer bet because he didn't have any kind of like drawbacks on his side. But now that Parnell doesn't get hit by his own rockets, no knockback, the health reduction is a little bit smaller.
Yep.
I think he's pretty solid.
Yeah, and I definitely think that it's something that we're starting to see more of. Parnell's one of those ones that you have to play him perfectly to Parnell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't play him like the other assaults. Like, his guns just don't work that way. And
Agreed.
It's something that just comes on over time. But it's one of those things that you get more practice, and as you get better with assaults, you start learning Parnell and start learning the different way that he plays. And, like, to be honest, I still can't play Parnell. I have him elited, but I still, I go into a game, I'm like, I'm not comfortable enough to, like, run in the Parnell. Like, I can Super Soldier get damage, but when I'm not Super Soldier, I'm not dealing damage.
He's one of my better characters that I play, and I picked up a lot of tips from watching other Parnell players. One thing I've learned is you want to kind of post up in a position with him that you're able to shoot the monster without having to move so much, because when you stand still, that shotgun's way more accurate. So it's a matter of sort of chase, but then stop and unload your clip.
Yeah, and right now we are going into the game, so we are now live with the next match. We have, of course, a Wraith pickup being done. So how do you feel about the Wraith pick?
I mean, I've got mixed feelings about Wraith right now. Like I said, the changes to tumbles, the changes to that heavy attack means that whoever's playing that Wraith has to be on point. Wraith has always been a monster that you need to be on top of things. You can't make mistakes. You got to exploit their mistakes. So I feel like it can be really tough against a good team because you're not going to have as many mistakes to exploit. And, against a team like this, capable of this damage with that health pool, we're going to have to see some perfect Wraith play, I think.
So we're looking at it right now. We do see that Wraith is done against a full damage composition. We have Keith, mini CP, one troll to rule them all. And did you catch the name of who's playing Parnell this game?
I missed that. My camera's covering it up here. Let me open up our chat here.
All right, chat. Let's give Parnell some love, as it's someone that we haven't had on the stream in a good while. And he deserves a little bit of a shout-out, although we have seen everyone else before. Mini, of course, is our wonderful little European buddy. And we have Vea Jeff, one troll to rule them all, and Keith coming through. And, of course, when I refer to Parnell, I'm referring to Vea Jeff, who's someone that's always in the chat. So throw him some love.
Good dude, yeah. Keith is devastating, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he's...
I'd like to say he's my nemesis. He is known as my nemesis on my stream. We bring him on, we put death squads together, and I rarely pull out wins against any team he's on. He is devastating as a support, especially Sunny.
Well, Sunny's banned, thank goodness for that, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. If Sonny wasn't banned, I would have said this game was done already. I'm telling you, he's beastly on her. He is. He doesn't miss a single shot. He's always doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, and this is actually interesting that we're seeing a lot of Wraith pickups today, and again with the 2-point Warp Blast, the only difference between this build and the build we saw in the previous 2 games was instead of the point on decoy, we're seeing a point on abduction, which just means that he wants to be able to fight if he's forced to, and he wants to be able to juggle wildlife.
Agreed, agreed. And you know, sometimes you got hunters on your ass, that abduction helps because you can hide behind something and pick up some wildlife, bring it to you for a snack.
Yep. Exactly, and we are looking at the perks. We have movement speed on Cojones, who is playing a monster for Team YP, aka Ninja Penguins, but they are now Team YP. And we are looking at the Hunter team, which we have damage reduction on both support and Trapper, which means they're going to be extremely tanky, which will help Val be able to make sure that they're able to stay alive with the heal gun. We have Jetpack Recharge, which means that they're going to be looking for mobility and a healing medic on Rogue Val because of the bouncing heals. And we have something that I actually think is a really weird pickup on, especially Parnell, is Quick Switch. And you said yourself that you play a lot of Parnell and that you're
I do. Yeah, I've messed around with Quick Switch, and I understand the logic behind it. It's basically when you're doing your Super Soldier, you know, you already have a heightened weapon swap. Picking up Quick Switch just means you can keep things going. Personally, I tend to like capacity, but Quick Switch can work. I don't know. It's one of those picks that it's not bad, it's not great in my opinion, but it works.
Well, it's when you're not Super Soldier, you have long reload times on Parnell, so I guess you can kind of look at the theory craft there. It's just something that you don't see often, which is why I think it's a little bit bizarre, but if, you know, it can
exactly.
work.
Yeah, like for instance, you know, I'll take reloads sometimes to experiment around and get more Super Soldiers and help me in between, you know, when I'm not Super Soldiering.
That's actually interesting. Does it actually impact your ability to Super Soldier, make it so you can Super Soldier faster?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good thing to note, is that you're able to Super Soldier faster as you're dealing with things. Is right now we are actually looking at a stealth pounce coming in. Oh no, he's on the outside!
Ooh!
He's on the outside! What?
What? That I don't even know what just happened there.
I don't know how that happened, but I'm not complaining. Here comes the Warp Blast to finish Vea. Vea's going down. That's a strike on Assault with a Stage 1 Wraith coming through with the clutch.
Amazing. Amazing. And it looked like it took their team a minute to figure out what was going on as well. They're probably like, what is he in? Is he out? What's going on here?
Well, it caught him right on the edge, just a little bit off on the marker, just basically looked at the marker, saw it, and threw the dome in the wrong direction. That's what can happen right there. And you just see that edge just keeping it in, and he's off by maybe, you know, like 1 pixel from being the middle, which would have meant that he was in and the Assault was out, which would have been an incredible dome. Like, that would have been like... Oh.
Question. Do you think Assault popped his shield too early there?
I didn't think it mattered.
Yeah.
Either way, he went down, right? So it like you pop it earlier, you lose less health, but his health was already going to be gone by the time the stealth pounce was finished. So you still have the same amount of health, right? It's not like there was any time to heal in between.
The logic I always pull is I kind of wait on it because it gives your medic more of a chance to get to you and heal you if you pop it a bit later.
But if you waited just a little bit longer, it's a
Especially
rough spot.
Yeah, with Rogue Val, she wouldn't have been able to handle the spike anyway.
But yeah, the way I look at it is like, you know, he had, you know, 200% health because of the shield. The monster stealth pounced through, you know, 150 of it, and then blew up the rest immediately afterwards. There was no healing that was able to take place because Rogue Val can't heal burst teammates, which means that the heal burst wasn't in there to give them that quick burst. They're reliant purely on that HP regen and the med gun.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Rogue Val made that kind of irrelevant, you know, whether he popped it early or late.
Yeah, so it's one of those positions like it's just caught. If that dome just caught just that little bit differently, that would have been a completely different engagement. Like caught him and like.
It looks like they're trying just to take Assault out of the game to mitigate that damage.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing more of this damage just getting pumped, though we are in the dome scenario, so we're just seeing more of the shotguns getting done blasting through. Here comes the next down as he's just trying to do everything he can. He just finally gets the Assault, but the R through all the armor, just a little sliver remaining. Here comes a couple more Cabot shots, and the pickup coming up for the Assault. Doesn't even actually have to pick him up, just uses the AoE. And here we go. Here comes the abduction going in to try and get Veajef. Veajef gets swiped, which means Veajef is now in the dropship. And
That's
Cojones.
amazing. You know, monsters, typically, you don't target the Assault. But in a situation like this, it's really not the worst idea, especially when you have that 1 strike lead.
Yeah. And when you look at this, it's like, all right, well, they're running a Cabot, so you take out the Assault. There goes the majority of their damage. Here comes the Warp Blast, though, going to be connecting, driving them all the way from one troll who's trying to stay alive. Here we go, Abduction being used, everything being done. Warp Blast, everything's being slapped around. One troll now getting a strike. We're at 3 strikes.
3 strikes for a bar and a half of health. Not bad at all. Halfway through to stage 3.
3 strikes to rule them all. That's what's basically going on right now. Just building things up, and it's just kind of... And he's just starting to snowball forwards. Cajone's coming through, getting that first strike, which just snowballed into a second strike, which snowballed into a Parnell being in dropship. And now we're just seeing the strikes starting to build up on the Trapper because just don't have the damage.
And he's not done yet. It looks like he's going to try and armor up possibly and go back and get some more strikes. Or maybe not. Maybe he's juking this way.
And this is, like, we see it so many times, and this is what we refer to as the raceway. Rarely do we see it used like this, but... This is why it's called the raceway, because you pull them through here, you loop back around, you come back down, and suddenly you have a large amount of space. But you've really only moved like 20 feet overall, but you've made them move 100 and some odd.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like they're going to take this opportunity to race to stage 3. I think.
Yeah, and he's going to be staging up. He is evolve ready, but they are in distance to try and get this dome, which means they're going to be ready to fight. Warp Blast comes in, goes on, hits one troll gets smacked around, goes on the duck, doesn't quite connect, dome gets thrown, he gets the dust tag's on, which means Cajone's looking for the hunt. And here we go, Rogue Val trying to get in those heals, not quite able to do much though as one troll is just getting melted here, trying to survive as much as he can, and there we go, Supernova finishing it off. Warp Blast going straight to Keith. Keith gets picked up, he's at half, gets a quick pickup from Mini, going to be reviving one troll. Keith is on the run, using his cloak to try and keep himself alive. Cajones is choosing to swipe around, just trying to finish off Keith. Not quite able to do it, though. Warp Blast being used. Here he goes. Abduct going in for the finish. Does get one troll yet again, and he's just going to be using that Supernova, driving him up into the air, trying to get the pickup, and he's just not able to do it. One troll dodging quite effectively. Gets the Warp Blast, though. Knocks him into the corner, which means he's going to be looking for the finish. However, Parnell's coming down, which means we got more damage coming through. One troll is actually in the next dropship, which starts the timer, as Vajev is now on the route, as he's just now landing, getting to the scene.
And what you're seeing here is it looks like he's trying to cycle them, kind of keep a couple gone at all times to keep the advantage in his favor even further.
Yep, and he's doing that very well. He waited to just make sure that he was able to finish it afterwards. We saw him pull back a little bit, which is a very nice tactic. It's one of those things you have to choose. Do I die and guarantee that I'm coming back, or do I try and live?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it looks like he's farmed himself a good amount of strikes on that engagement back there, and he's going to be clear to go off stage 3 right now. And
well, he's at 4 strikes. This is a rough spot.
Yeah. No, he's looking solid.
Like, where do you set up at this point on Orbital Drill to try and combat losing 4 strikes to a Wraith?
Wraith struggles at relay fights in general, but with these strikes on them, I don't think he's going to have a problem fighting anywhere.
And here we go. They didn't even give him time to set up as he's going right in immediately. Decoy being used. As we're seeing the final stage 3 build being 3 Warp Blasts and 2 and everything else. Going right through, just building up damage. Abduct being thrown. Vajev already used his personal shield, so he's going to be looking to try and get finished up here. Super Soldier being used to try and get a little bit of damage before he goes down, and he's in the next dropship, which means there's only 2 remaining. Mini's on the run. Mini CP, you said I did not hit her, but he's been shooting her all game. So she's coming back with a vengeance, and Keith's now on the run saying, I didn't do anything, don't hit me, as he's just running around this pillar, just trying to get sniped, and the abduction actually getting blocked by the Mammoth Bird. There's more of the poison coming out from Mini, trying to get some damage in as they're going through this armor, trying to make sure that they're not getting stealth bats. Warp Blast being used to finish off Keith. He's just getting low now. Abduction being used, gets blocked, but oh no, gets grabbed behind the Armadon.
Look how slippery Keith is.
Your nemesis proving his point.
Yeah. Yep, he is a slippery SOB. He is. And I think he made a smart call going in there trying to take out support. That way you're not tracking down an invisible jerk after you've already wiped the rest of the team.
Yeah, and Mini's got to survive 17 seconds. Warp Blast being used, knocks him on the high ground, knocks him over the corner, which means he gets put down on the other side. Is he able to buy time? Abduction does get dodged, which means Mini's on the run. Decoy being used, 8-7, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, not quite enough time, and Mini goes down.
Warp Blast out of stealth for the finish.
And that puts the score to a 3-0 in favor of Team YP currently.
Just great work all around from YP today. They're really showing why they are the dominant team in the scene.
Yeah, and coming through and looking at this game, it just shows you the power as we see Wraith. Just complete contrast between the two games on how one quick down coming through can make all the difference.
Absolutely. I mean, I got to be honest. I was projecting